Graphic design. I'm a graduate of Shawnee State. I'm a writer. I just put out my fifth book actually on how to be a good existentialist. That's actually what this shirt is. The tragic optimism is a term coined by Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl kind of actually, Chelsea, what you were going on about kind of reframing and leaning into your anxieties. Mm-hmm. He was big into that.
He's a big fan of Viktor Frankl.
Yeah. He had this term. Let's see, paradoxical intention, like to help people that were not able to sleep. He would tell them to try to stay awake. Mm-hmm. And often they did a little disruptive strategy like that, leaning into the things that make you uncomfortable. That's exposure therapy, right? So anyway, ideas and action, the system today, guys. Not unsimilar from the process you guys are going through with ICE right now. What ICE is trying to do is give you guys a way to know that you can be in a better position to succeed as entrepreneurs. In the same way, that's what Buddhists do, that's what Christians do, that's what organized religion does, is they give people a way, right? Up there in the top right, my little logo there is a wheel, and I didn't know this until after the fact, but something Kricker comments on. Josh, the wheel represents the Eightfold Path, okay? And this is how it works. There's a bunch of spokes in the wheel, and each one has a role, right? I think in Buddhism, it's like right thinking, right action, right mindfulness, right, etc., etc., etc. And once you put all those spokes together and put the wheel around it, then it rolls on its own. It's a system. I don't even think system is like a super fun word. It sounds like clinical and I don't know. In my artistic self, it doesn't like it that much, but it's effective. Okay, it's like so we have our three-part wheel here of how to turn ideas into action. I try to think super broad. What are the three things that we can just kind of cross our T's and dot our I's on? Most likely you guys have these three things going already. We just want to refine them and be conscious of them. So first thing we need is a problem. It has to be a significant problem. It can't be just like, how to grocery shop better or something. That might help. Yeah. You live a better life, but that's not the main, problem you're trying to solve in life. We want a personal process, so we do things every day. We have a list of things we want to do. How do we know those things are actually getting us closer to putting our dream idea into action? And then the root process, what we were just touching on earlier. Bootstrapping can only get you so far. You can compound your effectiveness. You can get leverage by having other people that are wanting to achieve the same goals as you, wanting to achieve the same ideas and action. So we'll go through all three of these. If you guys have a pencil, you can just kind of jot along. So the very first thing, but before I go into the last thing, is our goal is to roll, right? We want the wheel, we want this thing. We want to be aware that these things are all three components are working for us and they're rolling on. Okay, we're getting as much momentum and leverage as we can and turning our ideas into action as possible. We want it to roll into good ideas and action and a good life. That's the goal of being aware of a little system like this. So first thing, problem. How do we identify the problem? When you think about the hero's journey, the hero is a problem solver. Who are our biggest heroes? People we admire because they overcame the most difficult things, right? If there is no problem to overcome, there's no good story. That's kind of the paradox of life, right? We don't want unnecessary pain and unnecessary suffering, but at the same time, those things are, when people endure suffering and they create something out of it, those are the people that we admire. So you can think of your problem the same way. The reason why I asked what's the dragon is because in ancient mythological terms, the dragon is the biggest problem ever. It's like the ultimate beast, right? It's the thing that the hero has to slay. So just you could write down there, what's your problem? I mean, what's your dragon? Mine is, I think, the big one, like, to get, it's a little abstract, but the big thing is really to find my purpose in life. And I think that's an existential problem. That's why I've kind of gotten into that existentialism thing recently, was I identified that we're kind of in a point in history where a lot of different idea systems have clashed, and everyone's trying to sort out, well, where do we go from here if we're are materially successful? What is the purpose of life? I think the existentialists can help answer that question pretty well, actually. People like Viktor Frankl. What's your guys' dragon? I've heard of a couple of the problems that you're trying to solve. What does anybody care to throw their dragon out? It's a big question, I know, but what's a problem that you feel like you should solve? That you would maybe like to solve this course? Is it the tent, Megan?
The tent, yes.
I mean, if your living is being blown across the festival, that is definitely problematic. Okay. What about you, Chelsea?
I don't know. It's a good question. What is my dragon?
It's a really big question.
It is. That's why I was like, I don't know.
It's a really big question, and maybe the best thing to do is to pose it and have us consider, like, Chris Joe actually kind of provokes it out of people. He's like a design and business guy that I really like. When someone comes to him and asks him, hey, I want a new logo for my business, can you help me create that? Something he asks in a Socratic kind of fashion. I think it's kind of torturing him a little bit, but he's like, why don't we just do nothing instead? Why do you want a logo? Is that going to make things better for the service you provide and stuff, or do you just are you just kind of bored? Do you need to do something with extra money you have or something? It's a good question. So when we think about our problem, this thing that we're trying to solve, that we're trying to build everything else around, we got to make sure it's an important one, that we're spending our time wisely. Okay, the fitting in. I know we like to say we don't want to fit in, we don't want to go along with the crowd, but on the other hand,
I think human nature wants to. I mean, we're social by nature.
yes,
Even introverts, and I think that we want to fit in, but we want to stand out.
I know it's a real paradoxical thing.
But like, we want to fit in, but we just want to be unique,
Right.
in that group.
Right. Actually,
And still be part of the group, but just be like really cool. Like, that's a cool guy. Like,
maybe you want to serve your purpose in the group.
Yes.
Whatever you're uniquely suited to do. Right. That's how I kind of think about it. Is being fulfilling a niche.
Mm-hmm.
Like how do you be the best in the world at something? I really like this idea from Naval Ravikant, I think is how you say his name. But he says, how do you be the best in the world at something? You get paid by just being you, by sharing your ideas in your context, with your skill set, with your capabilities. You become a big enough expert at some niche thing that there's no one that can replace you in your own little fit. You're being irreplaceable because you're just you. You get paid for being you. It's just you stamped out 1,000 times. I don't think that has to be narcissistic. I think you can just be really helpful where you're at. What's absurdity? This is a big problem right now. This is an existential problem. Well, I feel like what I do doesn't matter because maybe you're working at a job you don't like. That feeling of absurdity is like a tennis player walking into a football stadium and they have a ball and a racket, but they're playing the wrong game. It really matters that you fit. It really matters that you have something useful to do, that you feel like your work is making an impact on people.
mm-hmm.
Something to consider. Where do I uniquely fit? I was thinking about this, randomly, this is not even something I planned to do, just by nature of like me being able to, me being a freelance graphic designer and being well connected and able to collaborate with people. That's what we did at Shawnee for a long time, was just talk with other artists, help them make their art, invite them to come make art with us. Fast forward 5 years, there's a client called Irv Jones that needed a bunch of graphic designers. I just happened to be like accidentally building that or getting in the network of that, right? And we were able to provide them services, and we do that right now, just in the pack of everything. We do like, Irv Jones is like sells class gowns and rings, and they go into a bunch of different high schools as reps, sell class gowns and rings, and they open the graphics portion of the business. And the gym owner that was behind their business just happened to mention me, and we just got plugged in. So it was just like a partnership that was waiting to happen. What did I do, Josh? Here we go. Okay. Yeah, so another thing is where do I uniquely fit? Where do I feel like I uniquely fit? Doing idea map, things like this. It turns out, I know it's kind of like a unique fit for me because there was 3 people that I was trying to reach specifically that I sent them a little idea map like this, and they either shared it or we ended up doing a little bit of work together or having some correspondence. People that I thought were unreachable. There were 3 people. There was Jack Donovan, who wrote this book called The Way of Men. He's kind of like this neo-pagan guy, and neo-pagan guy he's a fighter. He has like he's kind of a unique guy, but he had a book called The Way of Men, and I sent him for like an illustration of his 4-part system, kind of like this, and he liked it, shared it, and keeps tabs on what I do on my Instagram. Another guy, his name is Akira the Dawn. Akira the Dawn does this thing called, or has this music genre called Meaning Wave, where he like synthesizes, it's kind of like schoolhouse rock for modern day philosophers. Like he'll synthesize, Goggins or Jordan Peterson or even Theo Vaughn, these different thinkers. Okay, cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and
I think Derek introduced me to one of them actually.
Who?
Derek Parker.
Oh, really? Right on. Yeah, anyway, I shared some of the stuff, and we ended up making a couple music videos together where I just illustrated out some of Jordan Peterson's lectures while he makes things in the background and put the music. But the thing is that if there's less than that anywhere, that Instagram post that I put up got like 8 likes. Okay, and then Akira the Dawn wanted to work with me off that. He did not care at all about like how much social clout it had. I just was able to solve a very specific problem for him. You know what I mean? He wanted me to illustrate this video. It had nothing to do with how well I connected I was. I just hashtagged it with Akira and added, you know. So I thought that was an interesting. I thought that was cool. That gave me a lot of insights into how that works. But so problem. We need a specific problem. We got to fit somewhere. The second component, big component of the 3-part wheel, is a personal process. This one I detailed a lot about and spent a lot of time doing, just developing what is my daily practice and making sure I was doing that in order to get where I wanted to be. Mine is simple. I write 30 minutes to an hour in the morning. Normally for this Friday post that I released called the creative existentialist. I just share ideas that I'm interested in, what I'm learning, what I'm doing. No, not what super unique. Lots of people do this. But Seth Godin, I remember a while back, marketing guru Seth Godin talked about just write a blog every day, even if no one reads it, because in 100 or in a couple of years, you have all these signposts of what you've done and what you've had to think about. Writing is just thinking. It's just thinking, and in order to write things, you got to go out and do stuff in the world. That's a really good way to keep tabs on what am I actually doing, how am I spending my time, So I do that in the morning. The second thing I do every day is move in some capacity, walk my dog, walk with Heather, do a workout. Recently it's been some parkour stuff and jiu-jitsu. I'm really interested in solving movement problems, just like thinking problems. I think every time I learn a new movement skill, if I just learned how to do a somersault or something, I think that's super interesting. We're bodies, we gotta move these bodies around, right? We don't want to be completely detached from it. So I think that can be just as interesting and intellectual as reading books or whatever. The third thing is I read and listen every day. The YouTube recommended is good, right? But intentionally reading a book too, that feels like a lot different stimulus than just being fed information. I like to go between both. I think both are helpful. And the second part of the personal process is just playing. So we talked a little bit about getting in the zone, Megan, right? Yeah, that's what this is. Flow is the zone. It's productive play. I think maybe one really good definition of play that I heard once is that play is repetition with variation. So if you're just like locked up and afraid to make mistakes, then you're going to miss a lot. There has to be necessary conditions for failure. You have to be open enough that you could fail and laugh about it and try again, because I don't know, it's kind of an abstract thing really, but you can know you're there, you can know you're playing and you're flowing when time dissipates and you're having a good conversation with someone, you're not worried about what you're going to do later. It feels intrinsically valuable, you would do that thing without money, right? And then hopefully you get to do that thing for money, or even better. So what interests me? Stories interest me, fighting, like different martial arts, and people. People are very fascinating to me as well. What conditions do I need to feel like I get into the flow? Let's talk about that for a minute, guys. What conditions do you feel like you need to be doing an activity that feels, or doing your activity and it feels good? Are you guys morning people, night people? There are a few out.
I am not a morning person.
Is that close to good?
Yeah. Besides the morning part, yeah, but it's a little. I like morning because of the solitude coffee.
For sure.
But like.
Two great triggers, right?
Yeah, if those things weren't there, morning would be not as fun.
I understand.
So I feel like it's, I don't know what conditions, I guess, like, depends on my environment. Like I want a peaceful environment. Like when I'm out in nature, I'm just happier.
Hey, that's great. That's great.
I don't feel so like limited or like. So that's one. I can sing anywhere. So.
Yeah, that's true.
I can dance anywhere. I can.
Do you feel like you sing more standing up or sitting down?
Standing up.
Yep. Yeah, I think
It depends though. I have laid down or something, like it just depends. But most of the time I'm standing up.
For sure.
Most of the time.
Yeah, that's better because you're supposed to use your diaphragm and stuff when you're singing too, right? So that's what's happening.
But I mean, if you can sing sitting down though, I mean that's what whenever I see a video of someone singing like sitting down, singing, it's impressive because your diaphragm, like being able to train your diaphragm to do that, doesn't really matter because your diaphragm is strong enough. You can sit on my head and sing. I'm not going to, but I can sit on my head and sing.
That's it. It's an extreme exercise. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
What conditions do you think are most helpful for you to get into the play of the flow state?
It's frustrating for me because it's at night. I'm like, how am I going to
yeah.
live my life when?
I love the night.
So I mean, for me, it's when everybody else is in bed
Solitude.
and I'm actually, I have scent of a warmer,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so that's on,
Yeah.
it's quiet, and I'm reflecting. I'm reflecting on the day, and I'm meditating, and it's, and I'm in front of my computer. So those three things together, just relaxing, it's quiet, and I'm just letting my mind go, you know, on the computer. So, which sometimes keeps me up all night long. And I'm like, oh, this is gonna take me 3 days to recover. But I got a lot done.
Sometimes you gotta ride the lightning. No? Okay, good. That's good. All right, we've identified some personal process stuff that might help us make sure that, like, they were just talking in the video there that girl had good ideas. She went and met with a guy from that 1-800 jump guy. I've actually heard of him before because of what's the podcast? It's an NPR podcast about startups. You guys know what I'm talking about?
I can't remember.
I heard of the 1-800 jump guy. It's just junk removal, right? I'm pretty sure he's like a multi-millionaire or billionaire or whatever.
Yeah.
Yep, he's got, like, we've got a lot of trash and made a lot of money on it.
I built this, isn't that it?
I built this, that's what it is, yeah. Very good. But talking to kind of wrap up the personal process there, that like haunts me more than anything. That you have the good idea and you even have someone that's willing to help you, and then for some reason someone just won't do it.
Yeah.
And Peterson one time said, like, maybe there's a bunch of barriers in that person's life, and like maybe it's their psychology or whatever, like their personality traits, their temperament. It could be all that stuff, but they've had some chances to do it. You can't just completely alleviate someone of personal responsibility. Sometimes you've had your chance and you didn't take it, you know, so that's good. That's good to keep in mind. You should take the chance. The last part is the group process thing. So, I put in two categories there, a tribe and obligations. See, the tribe, I like the idea of the tribe because there's an initiation. Some people are in the tribe and some people aren't. And I know that, like, I'm a very inclusive person, so sometimes that makes me a little bit sad, but it's necessary. If you draw the circle too big around your tribe, then there is no tribe. It's meaningless, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you draw it too small, then you're going to be closed-minded and you're going to miss what other people potentially have to give you. Okay? So you got to draw the right size circle. The point of the tribe is to participate in group transformation. You have this little system of practices, and everyone's able to hopefully participate together in a way that makes everyone's lives better together. They're all playing a group game. For me, that has been Hoover Combat Athletics, us doing jiu-jitsu out on the west side together, and my church. Actually, very similar dynamics there. If you think of church as just like a group transformation process, then I think that kind of just demystifies it. At least that has helped me to think about it that way, because there's a lot of nonsense in church sometimes, you know. But if you think of these things as group processes of transformation, then you can try to identify what that tribe is for you. Does anybody know right offhand what that is for them? Does it or care to share? I think this is a super important one because you can really compound your ability to act on the things that you want to do if you have other people behind you, you know.
My band.
Your band, yeah.
Yep. We've been together for 7 years, known each other longer.
Man,
So like, that's my tribe.
yep. You guys are probably willing to go through the thick and the thin together,
We
right?
have,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, I have like several tribes, but like, they're all kind of intermingled
Yeah.
together, but they're all like their own tribe, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of like, I'm part of their tribe, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So, like, my tribe's not huge, but there's people in the different tribes that are my tribe, if that makes sense.
It's fun to see the different dynamics.
Because I'm part of my business partners are my tribe as well. I've known them since I was 14, I've known them forever. But also, the company that I act out of, just as like a film actress, that's my tribe as well. So I've known them for a while. They're like my family, really. So it's just like part of 3 tribes, but they all kind of come together.
Sounds important. What about you guys?
I have a group of friends that did it for 20 years. A lot of them are other artists, some are like airbrush artists, that kind of thing too. But we have like a Discord and we talk every day, and our kids have grown up together. And
That sounds great.
So that's probably my main one. Don't necessarily see each other in person all the time.
When you see each other, it's like you
Yeah,
never.
but again, we talk almost every single day.
Yeah. No, super beneficial. Anything for you particularly, your tribe?
I don't know how, I'll share this anyway, but
Yeah.
so my mom was my best friend, okay? And then I had a best friend of 15, 20 years, and I had a second best friend of 30 years. And I had another lady that was like another mom. I lost my tribe in 2 years. They're all gone. And that was 2019 to 2021. And I struggled. So I've had to reach out and join other groups. I've had to talk to other people, and I've had to build a new set of people. And what's amazing is what I'm finding is people that are going, yes, and I'm like, what, really? Because I don't know them. They haven't been friends for years, and so forth. But I'm finding that I'm finding other people out there that have the same vibe or energy or vision for people, and so that's been amazing. Is just putting it out there that this is who I'd like to connect with, and those people are appearing.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. But you have to do some work at it.
What am I doing wrong there, Josh?
What's that button over there? Tuck in your head, see what happens.
No, this won't be up.
Yeah. Oh, you're back, that's right.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay, we'll fit. We're almost at the end anyway, guys.
No, that's your word.
Okay. The last part, good obligations, wraps right into the triad thing. I think my best obligations right now is that I have to be somewhere on Sunday, right? I have to be at class Mondays and Wednesdays. I help teach really the white belts at Hoover Combat Athletics. And on Mondays and Wednesdays, 6 a.m. I also do a workout group in my church on Tuesdays in the morning, 6 a.m. And that just keeps everybody along a healthy path and interacting with each other. And then finally, having that, I cannot tell you what all the good that has come from just having one writing obligation a week. Having a blog that I have to post on Fridays. In some ways, I feel like that has been the process that's helped me to spiral out into other things, like compiling all those entries and putting books out, just self-publishing through Amazon, and thinking through what I'm doing with my time and sharing that with other people, just sharing and caring. It's been good for me and hopefully for other people. So that's our 3-part wheel, guys. Like I said, you probably have these things going in your life already. Just becoming more aware of them, writing them down, has been super helpful for me. So, any questions on that, guys?
It's pretty cool.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I look at this right in the middle, and I'm like, are you for hire?
Yes.
Because this is what I'm encompassing in my program as well, and my logo, I'm struggling with what to do with that, so.
Sure. Hey, get connected with me. I'm down at the bottom right there. My Instagram's down there, my website. If I can be of help, you know.
See, I've been struggling with, I just had a debut, like, poetry performance
Oh, yeah.
at the landing just recently. First time I ever, like, it's one thing to sing, but another thing, like, it's a different type of vulnerability to share your words out.
It is.
And after I did that, I loved it so much that I was like, this is cool. But I write like plays and like I write like movies and stuff and film.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been very chicken to continue or to like, almost like can't find time to write it. It's put off, but I know better.
For sure.
So just having like that daily writing thing really kind of helped. Cause like, if I wrote first day, like when I woke up in the morning with a cup of coffee and just wrote, I think it would help. So I do a lot of reading, I just don't do a lot of writing anymore.
It's tough, man. The one, not that you need more books to read, but one book that I really liked is The War of Art. And Stephen Pressfield, he like if he's good at anything, he's good at the personal process part. Like different people kind of have aptitudes in different areas, but you know, don't mistake the part for the whole. All this stuff works together, right? And he just talks about how the thing is not, the hard thing is not writing, it's sitting down and writing. You know, once you, it's not the fear of death. It's not death itself, it's the fear of death, right?
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, it is a fear of death. Wait a minute.
Thank you guys, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, a quick round of applause. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for